Hi there! So, some of you might be aware, I am doing a 24-hour readathon for charity tomorrow. I'm trying to raise some money for the National Literacy Trust. So this little video is going to be an introduction as to what I'm going to read tomorrow, and also why I'm doing this. So let's start off with the fun stuff. What am I going to read? So number one, we have Margaret Atwood's Good Bones. Margaret Atwood has become one of my favourite authors recently. She was first introduced to me in a couple of booktube and book club topics, because everyone seems to love her, and I can see why. And I just decided I had to get something of hers to read for this readathon. So this seems to be just a very bizarre little kind of connection, just little writings, nothing too serious that should give me something quite nice to read as I'm going through. Second, I have the wonderful How to Be a Heroine or What I've Learned from Reading Too Much by Samantha Ellis. So what I can gather is that this book was from a conversation between two friends who argued who was better, Cathy Earnshaw or Jane Eyre. If you don't know who the two of those are, then Cathy Earnshaw is the heroine from Wuthering Heights. Jane Eyre is obviously the heroine from Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is Charlotte Bronte, Wuthering Heights is Emily Bronte, and they tend to get compared a lot. I personally am a Jane Eyre fan, I'm not a Wuthering Heights fan. And this book is all about different heroines and people's takes on them. So we go through everyone from Anne of Green Gables to Scarlett O'Hara, and yeah, we even get Lizzie Bennet in there as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to having a little flick through. There's some of them that I don't recognise the names of, because maybe I've just not read the books yet. So hopefully not only will I get a good read out of this, I'll get some more stuff to read as well. So that should be fun. Number 3 on the list, and actually the first book I'm planning to read tomorrow, is Spoiled Brats by Simon Rich. Simon Rich is a comedic writer. I first heard about him from a booktube video by Ronlit. I'm going to link her channel below. And I read, she talked about a book called What in God's Name, and I read that and I laughed out loud and hurt my sides laughing at it. So I figured, why not try something else by his? I saw this sitting on one of the kind of advertising stands in Blackwell's and picked it up and decided it would make a good read. So I'm looking forward to something a little bit funny to start off with, because I think it'll get me in the right mood for going on. Then, as some of you also might be aware, I do have a love of adaptations of things, particularly recently adaptations on YouTube. And one of the more popular ones that's been recently was Carmilla by Verfgirl or something like that. But I had never read the book, so I have Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu. Trying to pronounce that is a nightmare. It's only about just over 100 pages. It's the original, well, one of the original vampire novels, and it is a female vampire, which even now is slightly unusual. So I'm looking forward to reading it. It seems like it could have quite interesting parts to it, and on top of that, it has some really pretty artwork inside it as well. It is not a picture book, before you say that. It is actual book, but it has some nice little plates throughout that are just very pretty, and the entire book is just beautiful. It's a pomegranate press edition, so it's an independent press, and I just absolutely adore it, so I'm looking forward to finally reading it. Then I wanted to add a little bit of the dark fairy tale to my collection. You will start to notice a theme of this probably from now on. So first, in the kind of dark fairy tale theme, is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. Uh, I don't really know how to just explain why I picked this up and was like, oh, that sounds great. Um, so Angela Carter has been mentioned by Jen Campbell. I'm going to link her channel below as well, who wrote the Bookshop book and Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops in her fairy tale collections videos, because she particularly enjoys the retellings of Angela Carter, because she does kind of darker twists on your typical fairy tales. So I think this includes like Beauty and the Beast and Bluebeard and Little Red Riding Hood, but just a slightly darker turn on them, which is, if you guys have ever read any of the original Grimm's Brothers fairy tales, taking a darker turn on them, interesting. They're already pretty dark. But yeah, so I've heard her talk about this, and a couple of other people say this is a really good fairy tale retelling collection. Again, it's really short. I've been trying to go for kind of short reads, short, snappy reads, so my attention doesn't kind of wane. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I think it's going to be interesting to say the least, maybe slightly creepy. Hope it's slightly creepy. Then we're in the 150th year of Alice in Wonderland this year. So I got myself the wonderful 150th anniversary edition of the book. Stunning. Yeah, and as you can see, this one was designed by Vivienne Westwood, and it has an introduction from her as well, explaining how Alice in Wonderland inspired her fashion collections. And I'm a massive fan of her fashion, so I'm interested to read her introduction, and I absolutely love Alice in Wonderland. It's one of my favourite childhood stories, and 150 years, I've got to reread it, so looking forward to that. Then I have Kate Moss and the Mistletoe Bride and Other Haunting Tales. I've been saying to people I'm going to try and freak myself out before I go, like around the time I would normally go to sleep, because if I am too scared, I won't sleep. So I've heard that some of these are actually pretty sweet and cutesy ghost stories, but there are just a couple in here that are just spine chilling. So I'm looking forward to working my way through it. I'm not sure if I'm going to read it all in one go or if I'm going to split it up throughout. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. If I'm particularly struggling, I might just read it all the way through. If not, then I might use it as a way to break up my reading. That's the kind of last of the novels and short stories. After that, I was like, I wanted to add some poetry. So I have After Ovid, The New Metamorphoses by Michael Hoffman and James Laston. So this is very clearly based on Ovid's Metamorphoses. I really like my Greek mythology, and I really like Greek poetry, and I just saw this and thought this sounded really interesting. The idea of people taking some of the key things from the Metamorphoses and just pulling it into a kind of contemporary poetry collection. Like I said, I wanted a poetry collection as part of my read-a-thon, because again, it's something I can split up if I want to. I can read a little bit, put it down, I can dip in and out of it, and it should be fairly easy to dip in and out of and quickly read. But I just wanted something to show that reading's not all about reading novels. Reading poetry can work, and I think that people get this impression that poetry is for old men who are sitting smoking a pipe in a smoking jacket with their slippers up in front of a fireplace, and yeah, um, I think they forget that poets were the rock stars of their day, and I still have a soft spot for them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. Then I have three graphic novels to break up the kind of litany of words. Um, so first of all, we have volume one of Amulets. Um, I heard about this and I saw some of the artwork, which I just think is so pretty. It's so cute. It's going to be a very simple read. It'll probably come really handy when I'm feeling a bit demotivated. And if I really enjoy it, I am planning on buying the rest of them because I've heard the series is really good. So that's the first one. Then I have The Sleeper and Spindle by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Chris Riddell. And this was another one. I saw it originally. I just absolutely loved the artwork in it. And I'm a massive Neil Gaiman fan. And again, it is a dark retelling of a fairy tale. Yeah, who would tell? And I just really like the idea of it. It's supposed to be a little bit different. I've heard very mixed reviews on it, so I'm looking forward to being able to say for myself what I think. So I have a feeling I'll either love it or I'll hate it. But I will read it. So that's on the to read pile for tomorrow. Then I have Through the Woods, Stories by Emily Carroll. It's another graphic novel. It's another dark fairy tale. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see that hopefully. There, it's just, I don't know. I kept on hearing about it from people who are massive fairy tale fans. The artwork is beautiful. It's really creepy, and I just wanted something a little bit different to read as well. And again, this is something if I enjoy it, I think she's got some other graphic novels that I am going to go and seek out. So that's the main things I'm going to read tomorrow. If I do manage to get all through all of these within the 24 hours, then I have The Crimson Petal and the White by Michael Faber, and I hope I pronounced that right, which I'm reading for Jen Campbell's book club, which I mentioned her earlier. And I'm probably going to read through that. I'm only about 200 pages through. It's 800 pages long. So if I do get through this, I think that'll probably take me through to the end of the day. So the reason I'm kind of doing this is I wanted to raise a little bit of awareness for some literacy charities. Some of you who know me will know that I volunteer at a school once a month to help children with their reading. I'm particularly passionate about not just children's reading, but encouraging literacy in just everyone. I think it's something we forget and take for granted that everyone can read, but not everyone can. And the National Literacy Trust are just a great charity and are good at running programs not just for children but for adults as well. So it's why I chose them. So thank you for everyone who has already donated. If you haven't donated, please use the link below and donate. And that's really it. So I'm starting at 1 p.m. tomorrow. I will be posting my first video blog just before then. And I'll be posting a blog every 4 hours after. I normally book journal. I won't be doing that during the 24 hours, but I will afterwards. So I'm going to write a review for each of these after the event. And I will do on Monday a roundup video. I would say I'll do it on Sunday, but I will do one last video on Sunday at the end of the 24 hours to say kind of what I've got through, but I'll be way too tired to make any cohesive sense. So I'll wait and on Monday talk about what I actually did, how it went, and tell you guys how much I've raised. So thank you again. Like I say, even if you can donate 50p, just anything will help. And I'll see you all tomorrow.